I'm gonna put it in front of his face and put it up. I'm gonna gloat. I got wafers, you don't.
Do you want one here?
Of course I want one.
Are they mailing them to you? No.
Ah, they're Keebler too. They have the Mexican ones.
Yes.
They call them nieves. Nieves, is that what they're called? Thank you. Sugar. They're bad. Thank you.
The last two.
Here's the last two.
14, 15.
Let me get this open.
Do you think these families stay together?
Oh, I think I did it. Sure, I did it all in an hour. I think I did it. I did something. It's fine.
Yummy, yummy, yummy. What? I 14. You guys see that okay? Control plus.
That's what I did. I cut like 3 inches shorter. I said 3,
Okay.
I'm gonna take that as an
Trying to be a urban knight, bro.
All right. So what you're gonna have to do here, Peyton, is you're gonna have to kind of examine this. And what I was doing right now while you weren't looking was I was trying to see what kind of goes together. Okay. And the problem is that they put it in kind of that biggest power to lowest power type of idea, even though the VT is still the same thing. So here's what happens. I'm gonna rewrite this. Okay. I'm gonna rewrite this as negative t squared minus 2 VT minus V squared, and then we're going to go plus 25. Okay? Now the reason for that, and I'll show you in a minute. Here I'm actually going to factor out a negative 1. Okay? And what's going to happen here is that this is going to become t squared plus 2VT plus V squared, and then of course the plus 25, right? Now, if you take a look at the inside, that's actually a perfect square. Okay? That means that if I factor that, that's going to become negative 1 times t squared plus v squared.
Why did you take it to?
Because, oh, sorry. Oh, that's not right. Thank you for saying something. The square goes outside.
Okay.
It goes outside. Because now when I multiply it by itself, it's kind of like doing this. It's t plus v. It's like that idea.
Why are the 2 VT?
Why the 2 vt?
Yeah.
Well, here, imagine this. Imagine that wasn't there. This is what you really get. This is what it factors into.
To get that?
To get this, it factors into both of these.
Oh, okay.
And actually, one should be, yeah. Because, now look at this. What's t times t?
T squared.
T squared. There's my t squared. See it? What is vt times vt? And then your 2VT. See it? So that's the factoring business right there. Now, let me try to get rid of some of this. And what's going to happen, over here, that's a plus 25, right? Outside. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to rewrite this as well, because I really don't like this minus out here. So I'm going to write this as the 25 first, minus t plus v quantity squared. Okay? Now, I don't know if you noticed it, but isn't 25 also a square?
Yeah.
It's 5 squared, isn't it? So we have 5 squared minus t plus v quantity squared. So what I'm looking at is the difference of squares. And what that's going to factor into is I lost the word. Somebody help me out. Conjugates. Into 2 conjugates. You're going to get 5 plus, and minus, right? And then what's going to go in there? The other part's going to be that t plus v bit. T plus v. And there it is factored all the way. Okay? So this came from here. See it? So it's 2 conjugates. So if you want to plug that into the solution, let me go and plug that in real quick. Wait. Okay. So it should read parenthesis 5 plus v plus t, close parenthesis, open parenthesis, 5 minus v minus t, close parenthesis. There it is. It was a tougher one. It was a good question though. And then you said the next one also?
Yeah.
It'll probably be the same deal, won't it? Oh, actually this one's not so bad. Let me... Okay, so the first hint that I get here is that the first one has a square and the last one has a square. So I'm thinking that this might be a perfect square. Kind of like in this problem, how this became 2 of the same thing. That's what I'm thinking here. So let's see here. Does 50 have a square root? It doesn't, does it? Neither does 8. But notice that they're all even, aren't they? So I can actually factor out a 2, couldn't I? Okay. So I'm going to take out a factor of 2. That would leave me with 25a squared plus 20ap plus 4p squared. And now look at the inside. Does the 25 have a square root? And does the 4 have a square root? It does, doesn't it? So let me try this out. 2 times, let's see, what's the square root of 25a squared? 5a. And what's the square root of 4p squared? 2. So I'm going to go plus 2. And let's try this out. What's 5a times 2? Sorry, 5a plus... 5a times 2p would give you 10ap, right? And if I double it, do I get the middle one? So put that square there and you're done. Now, if that little check I did, where I multiplied the first one and the second one and doubled it, did not match the middle, then it's not a perfect square. Because only when it's a perfect square does it match that scenario. Okay? Other questions? Job. Nothing else? All right, cool. Let's finish up the presentation then. On where'd it go? File Explorer. Six three. All right, cool. Factor a sum of cubes. Okay, here's where we left off. Objective 3. Guys ready? Okay, so difference of cubes. It's just like the difference of squares, but instead of the 2 terms, have a nice trip. That's the other one. Instead of the 2 terms being square terms, now we're looking for cube ones, okay? So with the difference of cubes, here's the formula that you're going to want to look for. So if they look like this, they're in 2 cubes or can be written or expressed in 2 cubes, then this is the way that they're going to factor out. Now, I don't really like this formula too much, and hopefully this might make a little bit more help or make more sense. We'll call this the first term cubed, okay? minus the second term cubed. And the way it's going to factor is going to be the first one minus the second, first one squared plus first times the second plus the second one squared. Okay, same idea, except the F and S has really helped a lot of people. If you're okay with the X and Y, keep it. Okay, but if the first term and then the second term make more sense, then you can use the FS. But it's the same idea. It's actually the same formula, except you're identifying what the first thing is and you're identifying what the second thing is. And all you're doing is plug and chugging. They're all S's. There's no numbers there except for the squares. S. That's what my little girl's doing. You know, the kindergarten stuff you guys do? Where you would do the letters and the animals?
I hated my kindergarten class.
Whoa.
She was evil.
She was evil?
She was a mean old lady.
I still remember. Do you remember her name?
I was at Picacho.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, but
The only reason we ever went to Picacho school was to play on their little short basketball hoops. Because you could slam dunk there. Yeah, because they weren't standard height. They were like a lot lower because it was elementary. So we would ball them so that we could slam. Because I'm, vertically challenged.
We had those, and then they built a new basketball court for the middle school kids because it's K through 8th there.
Oh,
So
very nice. Okay, so here we go. In this case, we want to factor each polynomial. So same idea as before, right? I want to make sure that I have two cube values here. So what I want to do is, for starters, see if I can express this in the form of two cubes. In this case, I would have x cubed, correct? Minus the other one. What is 1,000 in a cube? Yeah, it's 10 as a cube, isn't it? Okay. So I want you to notice, now this is the difference of two cubes. What's inside of here is the first. What's inside of here is the second. So then you just follow the formula. It's going to go x minus 10, which is the first minus the second, multiplied by the first one squared, so x squared, plus the first times the second, which is what, 10x? And then we're going to take the second one, we're going to square it, so it's going to be plus 100. And there you go.
that's how we would write it.
Yep. Now, at this point, you could probably be like, wait a minute, isn't that a square? And that's also a square? So here's that perfect example I was telling you guys about. Sometimes you want to check it. So if I took the square root of x squared, that's x, isn't it? And what's the square root of 100? It's 10, right? So if I go, wouldn't it factor into something like this? Well, not if the middle part doesn't check out. So how do I check for the middle one? I go 10 times x, and then what do? Double it. So that would give me 20x, right? Is that the middle number?
No.
So I can't factor it this way.
So you just leave it.
I would leave it the way it is up there. Okay, I'm sure it's factorable, but it's not going to, well, actually, it probably might not. You can check it with the discriminant. I don't think it's going to be factorable, because that's going to give you a very big negative number. If you think about it, you're going to have to take that 100 multiplied by 4 and by 1, right? And it's going to be a negative 100. You're actually going to get 0, won't you? Yeah, because it would be b squared minus 4ac.
Oh, that thing.
No, it'd be 100. It'd be 100 minus 400. No, that'd give you a negative number, so not factorable. All right. Questions here? Simple, huh? No, you may not.
You got 6 months. Oh God, don't remind me.
Here's all the work. So there it is. Boop, boop. Oh,
What day do we graduate? Yeah, what day do we graduate? 23rd, right? Wait, we graduate. Okay, so no, I really do need to know this.
I don't know.
Tuesday the 23rd.
I don't ever want it to end.
Tell us about this. Are we your favorite class?
Yes. You are.
Really? I feel like you tell that to everyone.
No.
His 4th hour is really bad.
No. I tell them straight up. Didn't I tell my 4th hour I like my 3rd hour better? They actually work. And I think from all the classes, I think I like
Who's
this.
in your 3rd hour?
It's another AP class. It's the AP Computer Science one.
Who's in it?
Not
get better.
Well, I don't want to say that they're better, but they work more. Or at least they're better at it.
But most of the 3rd hour kids just stay there.
They do.
Wait, what? The 3rd hour kids stay during 4th hour. No, because they don't want to go to lunch.
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about.
All right, cool. So you guys ready? Next one. Again, let's try to write this in the form of 2 cubes. So can I take the cube root of 8? Can I write it in this form? What's the cube root of 8? It's 2, right? And then, of course, the cube root of k to the 3rd is k. So this would be 2k minus something cubed, which is y. So again, I'm just going to use that formula again. And the more practice you get, you're going to get good at it. Here's how it works. And here's how... The first one looks just like what you see kind of there. That's going to be 2k minus y. And then for the other part, you kind of follow that, you follow Pascal's triangle bit. Remember that? It's going to be the first one. You're going to square it. So it's going to be 4k squared. And then the first times the second. And here's the only thing that changes. Here, this is going to be a plus. And then we're going to get 2k times y. So that'd be 2ky. Oh, that's not a game? Oh, never mind then. I heard somebody's talking about like 2k something. Y squared, and then you're done. Okay. Wasn't like NBA 2K something? You were saying it. Never mind. I'll plead the fifth. The video games, isn't there like a 2K something?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm sure there's lots of them. N2K, B2K. Oh wait, that's a singing group. Never mind. Right? Wasn't B2K what's his name? Marcus Houston and
Wait, what's going to be on the final this semester?
math.
Like, I know it's everything we learn, but like, is it on the computer too?
Please tell me no.
No. Well, part
I'm
of
gonna
it is.
fail it.
Part of it is really funny. Is there a writing?
There's going to be a writing portion, and there's going to be a computer portion.
Ugh.
Like, just like the test we've been taking?
Are you gonna give us a study guide?
Yeah, this was a study.
It's called my YouTube channel.
No.
What?
Jeez. It's called my study plan.
Wait,
I've
how
been
many
asking.
questions does it have to be?
I don't know.
Make it funny.
20
it like-
few. You don't want a few questions.
Make it like 50, and then we'll be good.
Right?
50? Yeah, because then if I miss 2, it's not an F. It's like
Yeah, if you miss a few.
35.
Well, here, just understand the less you have, the easier it is to fail it. Okay? Do you guys have the idea of the cubes already? Do I need to do any more? Okay? I'm gonna go ahead and jump to the sum of cubes, okay? Yeah. At this point, it's not factorable any further. But yeah, that's a fantastic point. If you could factor this by some fluke, which is really small percentage, because sometimes they make that way, then yeah, continue to factor it. Otherwise, it's done. Now what I would do is, if you want to check that, throw it to the discriminant. Remember the quadratic piece, the square root here? Just throw it in there, and if you get a whole number out, then it's factorable further, and you can go from there. Good question. All right, here we go. Let's go ahead and jump to the sum of cubes. Now, I remember telling you guys yesterday, you cannot factor the sum of cubes, Jacob. You cannot you cannot factor the sum of cubes, but you can factor the sum of. Hold on, did I just ruin that? Yeah. I heard myself say it, and I couldn't stop myself in time. You cannot factor the sum of squares, but you can factor the sum of cubes. Okay, and you might get a little deja vu here, but trust me, it's not. Okay, here's the formula. Okay, so Let me show you what the FS. First one cubed plus the second one cubed is equal to the first plus the second, the first one squared minus the first times the second plus the second one squared. Doesn't it feel like you just wrote this? I do want to put these side by side so you guys can see the difference. So I'm going to put the other one here and I'm going to use red. So the other one was the first one cubed minus the second one cubed is equal to the first minus the second, first one squared plus first times the second plus the second one squared. Okay? And I'm going to circle in green the only difference between the two. Okay? See that? That is the only difference between the two. Well, of course, if it's the sum, then it's going to have a plus, right? And if it's a minus, it's going to have a subtraction problem. Now, technically, both the signs change, except does it make a difference, really, if you square a negative? No, because what happens when you take a negative times a negative? You get positive, and that's why that's a plus. Okay, so technically, they do change. They don't really change. Shout. Cool beans? So the only thing that's really changing between the two formulas is going to be this. If you're doing plus, this is a minus. If you're doing minus, then this is a plus. And at the end, it's always going to be addition. Okay? Cool? Note. Here's a note to you. I'm gonna skip it.
What? You just look at a note to you.
It's a note. It says, note. The sign of the second term in the binomial factor of a sum or difference of cubes is always the same as a sign of the original polynomial in the trinomial factor. The first and the last terms are always positive. The sign in the middle term is the opposite of the sign of the second term in the binomial factor. Here's what it's saying.
It's only the opposite one.
Notice that if you are adding two cubes, then that's going to be plus. And if you're subtracting them, that's going to be minus. They're saying this is always plus, and this middle one will always be the opposite of that. Okay? And I think I said it already, so moving on. Let's do it. 8p to the third plus 125. That's going to become 2p to the third plus 5 to the third. So there's my two cubes. And I can just jump straight to the formula. Should go like this. 2p plus 5, 4p squared minus, remember it's always the opposite of that sign in the middle. 2 times 5 is 10, so that's going to be 10p plus 25. Now I'm already going to check because I know that the square root of 4 is 2, the square root of 5 is 5, so 2 times 5 is 10. But if I double it, I don't get the middle one, so it's not factorable any further. Or at least into a perfect square. It's a perfect square. Aren't all squares perfect though? What are you guys doing? You guys are playing video games, huh?
Nah, I'm trying to figure out where my document.
Why don't you try the search feature?
What's that? Where's that at?
Upper right hand corner. Are you in your folder folder? Oh.
I'm just going through every single one.
No, here. Did you just do it recently?
No.
It's old? So type it in here. And type his name over it. Yeah.
See, that's the thing. I didn't name any of it. Like, look at all the names.
Do you remember when you did it? Because you can sort it by
No, I'm
name.
just trying to get it organized. Too.
Oh, never mind then. They're all document 1, document 2, document 3, document 4. That's great. I haven't seen that since I did it. Hey, you know when you're in a rush, you kind of forget, right?
Yeah, no. I've been working.
You have to open every single one.
I have used it.
Yeah, but for us, we used to use floppy disks a lot. You guys ever seen those? The little 3.5 floppies? And man, the worst thing that happened to me once is that I must have hit some kind of magnet because it just wiped the disc. Like that was the thing. They were magnetic. So if you got it close enough to a strong magnet, it would demagnetize it all and ruin everything. It's like, no. This will fit like a short 3-minute song. That's all I could put on it. If that. Whenever you had to like update your operating system, like Windows, you'd get like a stack like 16 to 20 some disks. You put one in, it would load it. You'd spit it out, put another one in, all the way until you got like all of them done. Yeah, it was ridiculous.
And then did you just use like the last one?
Huh?
Did you just use like the last one?
No, once it was all installed, it was there. You just put your stack away and forgot about it. Or you rewrote over them so you can use them as memory.
Ew.
Well, yeah, back then it was like having the best memory was awesome. Now it's like, oh, it's strong. Okay, you guys try that one? I'm gonna call on someone for this one. It might be you.
Oh. Oh.
You don't take math notes on there?
No, but I want to try it.
Get yourself a writing pad. They were for like, I think you can get them for like $100.
Oh, that's it.
Oh yeah,
Writing
sure.
My class.
Try
Seriously.
try the math pad. There should be a program, I think, if I'm not mistaken, that'll bring up a pad and you can write in there and it'll turn it into numbers and stuff for you. Equation something. Try math input. Yeah, math input panel. See it?
No, it's not good. Oh my god, it's not good.
Trying it with the mouse and stuff. Might be a little tricky because it'd probably be easier if you had one of these math mics.
I think that's right.
You know what? I'm done with this problem.
You're done? Good, good, good.
No. I'm just done.
Oh, what?
Done.
Why? Here. What's the square root of 64? 4, right? So this would be 4m to the third. And the square root of that's going to be 5n to the third. So then you should just factor it that way. Can you go from there? You have a calculator. Do you know how to find the third root of that or something? On this?
On what? No basic computer?
Yeah. You see this one right here?
Yeah, no.
Oh. Well, then why? So you would
Every
go.
shit is none.
So it would be 3. So that makes it the third root of the 364. And then that's going to tell you what goes in there.
First number, second number, 4
Oh, that's a great shot. Alright, let's see here. Who's going to do it? It's going to be... Oh, what kind of lucky? Oh, no. What's up, plus?
You can square it.
Oh my god.
Here we go. It's gonna be. Everybody have an answer, right?
Yeah.
I'm a little confused, but I know. No. I don't get math. Wait, okay, so it's
You're above average. What are you
I
talking
got
about?
don't get math.
So if it's gonna be cubed and it's 64, it's not 8, right?
No.
That's where I'm
That's the square root of
Who has the problem? What was it?
64 and cubed.
64 m cubed minus 125
Plus.
n cubed.
Yeah.
There you go.
So it's
No, you need to know what the cube root of 64 is. You can use a calculator.
I don't know where mine went.
Oh.
I really think it got like this last
He's
two.
not putting in work.
I think we have a calculator.
That's
I had it for days and the next day it's just
Gone.
it grew legs and all cool. Mom did, don't joke about it. Serious matter.
This class.
Ew.
Why did I miss it?
Okay, let me pick somebody. Everyone ready? No?
I can definitely.
Okay, alright, let's do like this real quick.
Got it.
Let's do this. Everyone agree you gotta make it into 2 cubes first, right?
Yeah.
Everyone's good with that? What goes in here? 4m. What goes over here? 5n. Okay, now let me ask you this question. Which of the 2 formulas do I need to use? It looks like this. The first one plus the second one. The first one squared minus the first times the second plus the second one squared. Okay? So I'm going to just do that. Okay? What is the first one? 4n. Plus, that doesn't change. What's the second term? Beautiful. Now, what's the first one?
16.
If I square it good, it's going to be 16m squared. Minus the first times the second. So 4m times 5m,
20.
20
MN.
mn. And then I got to square the second one. So what's 5n squared? 25n squared. And you're done. Just follow the formula. Formulas are like money, baby.
So when there's
See where we're at. Okay, you do this one.
I don't know. What do teachers do if they only teach seniors? So like, the seniors leave like a week before school actually ends.
Oh yeah, I know.
What do you guys do? Like, do you just go
Grade
home?
stuff.
Chill? Just chill at home?
Wait,
No,
don't
you
you have
have
to
to
grade
come
our test?
Yeah, that's what we'll be doing.
But we're already be graduated.
Yeah. But it's not that many days. It's for like 2 or 3 days maybe.
No, but we got to get out that Friday. And then we graduate that Tuesday. So you like, between that Friday and that
Well, that
Tuesday-
depends because like I've had classes with where they're supposed to be senior classes, but you always have juniors, so you have to you do stuff with them, and they usually get a lab.
Yeah, just let them watch movies.
No.
That's
Who's junior in here? Raise your hand if you're a junior.
She's the only one.
Me and you. We're gonna watch movies. No, we're
What?
not.
What are you gonna
You
teach
brought
her?
up your emotion.
That's so sad. That's so
She probably won't come. Will you?
Well, are you gonna make
She
it?
will. I don't have
Wait,
to
is she
look at
gonna take her final with us?
No.
Why?
it. I'm not allowed to.
Really?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
I'm positive.
You
Are we
should-
gonna
We've
let her-
had this
Wait, I
argument
have a
like for
question.
the last 5 years.
Can you
8 years that I've been here so far. Yeah, sorry.
can you start a writing like for the actual week?
No, we're gonna do it the last day.
Oh, I was like, you hate us obviously.
No, I don't. All right, cool. Let's write this over here.
I've always wondered, like,
So it was 2x to the third plus 2,000. Okay, I'm gonna call somebody. I'm gonna call somebody.
okay.
I'm gonna call you.
Say it like that.
It's gonna be you.
I feel like I catch it in my head and broke it back in my mouth without
I put that in earlier. How dare you not?
I don't know what GPA is, like my actual GPA, and it bothers
Bro, I think I'm losing.
Why don't you go to something?
Yeah,
Because even in the grade book online, it says quarter one. Like, it's not giving us this. Like, it gives you quarter one GPA will not give you quarter
They sound so
two
good on
or
my shirt.
semester one. It literally just gives you quarter one GPA, and my GPA will not move, and it makes me mad. Oh my god, why are my grades so crappy? Oh wait, I'm missing a couple. I literally, like, back when I gave me a heart attack, I was like, it's so sweet.
All right, let's see who gets the pleasure. It's gonna be. It's gonna be.
I don't know what would you mean.
Oh, barely.
RJ. There's no 2,000 cube.
So you can't do it.
Sure you can. What are you gonna do first?
2000 cube is like the first one to find like 12
Thank you. You're gonna factor out a 2. That's gonna give you x cubed plus 1,000. So you're gonna get 2x plus 10 times x squared minus 10x plus 100. Math.
Wow, I did not even think I got that.
Oh, that's egg on my face.
I have that written down the whole entire time. This is testing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, she looks like she's mad over there. Are you mad, Brittany? Yeah. Like, are you upset about this problem? What's going on? You're pretty passionate over there. Like, I can't. What is this nonsense?
What is all these scribbles?
I don't speak Egyptian. All right, cool. Let me end.